So today, and I just no, it's gonna be fine. Today we're gonna talk about being the nice guy, and in another episode we're gonna talk about just this thing. So this article that I'm having in front of me by the psychologytoday.com, I think, or org site, and which is all about being nice. Yeah, just as a different thing because of course it's in general like being too nice can be a negative thing, apparently, to some degree, also for yourself, especially. But there is another whole story about just being the quote unquote nice guy in terms of women and approaching women and dealing with women and whatnot. And there is actually a fucking Wikipedia article, which is actually very, 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 very good and detailed and stuff that I'm going to read about being the nice guy. And yeah. A nice guy is an informal term commonly used with either a literal or a sarcastic meaning for a man, often a young adult. In the literal sense, the term describes a man who is agreeable, gentle, compassionate, sensitive, and vulnerable. The term is used both positively and negatively. When used positively, and particularly when it's used as a preference or a description by someone else, it is intended to imply a male who puts the needs of others before his own, avoids confrontations, and thus favors, gives emotional support, tries to stay out of trouble, and generally acts nicely towards others. In the context of relationships, it may also refer to traits of honesty, loyalty, romanticism, courtesy, and respect. When used negatively, a nice guy implies a male who is unassertive or otherwise non-masculine, and some other things. But there's actually studies. The result of the research on romantic perception of nice guys are mixed and often inconsistent. Harold and Milhausen conclude the answer to the question, do nice guys finish last, is complicated in that it is influenced both by the measurement instruments used and by subject characteristics. Studies that explicitly use the term nice guy sometimes cite research that does not directly use the term but addresses behaviors which are often associated with disingenuous niceness, the nice guy construct. One difficulty in studying the quote-unquote nice guy phenomenon is due to the ambiguity of the nice guy construct. Participants in studies interpret nice guy to mean different things. In their qualitative analysis, Harold and Milhausen found that women associate different qualities with the nice guy label. Some women offered flattering interpretations of the nice guy, characterizing him as committed, caring, and respectful of women. Some women, however, emphasized more negative aspects, considering the nice guy to be boring, lacking confidence, and unattractive. The jerks were also divided into two categories, which apparently is the opposite of a nice guy. So there's the jerk and nice guy, and the jerk is the opposite of a nice guy. Yeah, apparently. As either confident, attractive, sexy, and exciting, or as manipulative, unfaithful, disrespectful of women, and interested only in sex. So also good and bad things. Nice guys are sometimes suggested to be overbearing or lacking in vision and ambitions. These options suggest self-confidence as a key point and area of improvement. Researchers have therefore operationalized the nice guy, quote-unquote, and quote-unquote jerk constructs in different ways, some of which are outlined below. So the results of research. It's actually a very, 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 very amazingly long article, but I'm gonna push through that because I know that some people maybe are in need of that. Results of research. Various studies explicitly try to elucidate the success or lack thereof of nice guys with women. Jensen Campbell et al. 1995 operationalized niceness as pro-social behavior, which included agreeableness and altruism. They found that female attraction was a result of an interaction of both dominance and pro-social tendency. They suggest that altruism may be attractive to women when it is perceived as a form of agenic behavior. Nice guys are usually seen as twice more attractive than men who prefer to present themselves as neutral, and 8 times more attractive than the jerks in a dating profile. Social dominance enhances female attraction to a male who has shown in a relationship niceness, traits of kindness and warmth stated by women looking for long-term relationships, and less status and physical attractiveness. Sprecher and Regan found kindness and warmth, expressiveness, openness, and humor as desirable traits of a long-term partner. Less so social status indicators like future earning potential or wealth. Participants suggest they wanted more humor, expressiveness, and warmth from their partner than is expressed with their friends. Harold and Milhausen from 1998 asked a sample of undergraduate women You meet two men. One, John, is nice but somewhat shy. He has not had any sexual experience. The other, Mike, is attractive, a lot of fun, and has had intercourse with 10 women. Both wish to date you. Whom do you choose? 54% reported a preference for John, apparently, and 18% preferred Mike, and the rest had no preference. I see. Urbaniak and Killman from 2003 constructed vignettes of 4 hypothetical dating show contestants. The nice Todd versus the neutral Todd versus the jerk Todd versus Michael, who was created to be control. Nice Todd described a real man as in touch with his feelings, kind and attentive, non-macho, and interested in putting his partner's pleasure first. Neutral Todd described as real man as someone who knows what he wants and knows how to get it, and who is good to the woman he loves. Jerk Todd described the real man as someone who knows what he wants and knows how to get it, who keeps everyone else on their toes and avoids touch-feely stuff. Michael described the real man as relaxed and positive. In 2 studies, Urbaniak Killman found that women claimed to prefer nice Todd over neutral Todd and jerk Todd relative to Michael, even at differing levels of physical attractiveness. They also found that for purely sexual relationships, niceness appeared relatively less influential than physical attractiveness. Who guessed that? After acknowledging that women's preference for niceness could be inflated by the social desirability bias, especially due to their use of verbal scripts, they concluded that our overall results did not favor the nice guy stereotype. McDaniel from 2005 constructed vignettes of dates with a stereotypical nice guy versus a stereotypical fun and sexy guy, and attempted to make them both sound positive. Participants reported a greater likelihood of wanting a second date with the nice guy rather than with the fun and sexy guy. A 2008 study at the New Mexico State University in Las Cruces showed that nice guys report to have significantly fewer sexual partners than bad boys. And who guessed that as well? Barclay from 2010 found that when all other factors are held constant, guys who perform generous acts are rated as being more desirable for dates and long-term relationships than non-generous guys. This study used a series of matched descriptions where each male was presented in a generous or a control version, which differed only whether the man tended to help others. The author suggests that niceness itself is desirable to women, but tends to be used by men who are less attractive in other domains, and this is what creates the appearance of nice guy finish last. I actually never thought about it in that way, but it kind of makes sense, I guess. Maybe it is just a way of, unattractive people to get what they want to have. I don't know. But it doesn't also fully make sense, because I kind of, I would rather say that people that, I don't know, maybe don't have many options do that, which could be, you could say that unattractive people don't have that many chances and that many opportunities or options, but not necessarily quite. Judge et al., whatever this is, it's some Latin shit, but I don't know, from 2011 concluded that nice guys do not necessarily finish last, but they do finish a distant second in terms of earnings. Yet, seen from the perspective of gender equity, even the nice guys seem to be making out quite well relative to either agreeable or disagreeable women. These studies also cite other research on heterosexual attraction that does not mention the nice guy term. They interpret various studies on female attraction to various traits in men, for example, dominance, agreeableness, physical attractiveness, wealth, etc., and on the sexual success of men with different personality traits to shed light on the nice guy phenomenon. Sadella, Kenrick, and Verscher from 1985 found that women were sexually attracted to dominance in men, though dominance did not make them likable to women, and that dominance in women had no effect on men. Really? I don't actually want to be dominated, but anyway. Baggett and Fisher from 1995 studied the relationship between the personalities of a university man and their number of sexual partners. They found a correlation between a man's number of sexual partners and the traits of sensation-seeking, hypermasculinity, physical attractiveness, and testosterone levels. They also discovered a correlation between maximum monthly number of partners and the traits of dominance and psychoticism. Baggett and Fisher suggest that an underlying construct labeled disinhibition could be used to explain most of these differences. They suggest that disinhibition would correlate negatively with agreeableness and consciousness from the Big Five personality model. Botwin, Buss, and Shackelford from 1997 found that women had a higher preference for surgery and dominance in their mates than men did in a study of dating couples and newlyweds. Other viewpoints. A number of viewpoints have arisen in popular culture that revolve around the concept of the quote-unquote nice guy, irrespective of the preceding research. And there's actually more. The nice guy finishes last view. A common aphorism is that nice guys finish last. The phrase is based on a quote by Brooklyn Dodgers manager Leo Durocher in 1946, which was then condensed by journalists. The original quote by Durocher, referring to the Dodgers' bitter rivals, the New York Giants, was, "The nice guys are all over there in 7th place." About the blah blah blah, 7th place was actually second to last place in the National League. Many variants appear in later works, including Dodgers blah 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 blah. Though this is the origin of the phrase, Durocher's remark was specific to the context of baseball and indeed to the context of that set of players rather than intended as generally applicable to male-female relationship dynamics or in any other context in his allegation. Of course, in effect, relationship between being nice and finishing last was at most merely implicit. Simplistically, the term nice guy could be adjective blah 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 blah. The nice guy and finish last view is that there is a discrepancy between women's stated preferences and their actual choices in men. In other words, which I actually also thought about. In other words, women say that they want nice guys, but really go for men who are jerks or quote-unquote bad boys in the end. Stephen Thesrockers claims in a 1995 article in the journal Sex Roles that many sensitive men, based on personal experience, do not believe women actually want nice guys. According to McDaniel, popular culture and dating advice suggests that women claim they want a nice guy because they believe that it is what is expected of them, when in reality they want the so-called challenge that comes with dating a not so nice guy. Urbaniak and Killman write that although women often portray themselves as wanting to date kind, sensitive, and emotionally expressive men, the nice guy stereotype condensed that when actually presented with a choice between such a nice guy and unkind, insensitive, emotionally closed, macho man or jerk, they invariably reject the nice guy in favor of his so-called macho competitor. Another perspective is that women do want nice guys, at least when they are looking for a romantic relationship. This Rogers 1995 suggests that it still seems popular to believe that women in contemporary America prefer men who are sensitive or have feminine personality traits. Women have differing options about whether nice guys finish last sexually or not. There's actually more. Harold and Milhausen found that 56% of 165 university women claim to agree with the statement. You may have heard the expression nice guys finish last. In terms of dating and sex, do you think women are less likely to have sex with men who are nice than men who are not nice? A third view is that while nice guys may not be as successful at attracting women sexually, they may be sought after by women looking for long-term romantic relationships. However, the nice guys need to lose all hope, with studies showing that while women like bad boys for flings, they tend to settle down with more caring types. And which I think also kind of makes sense. The bad boys tending to exhibit the dark triad, i.e. the self-obsession of narcissism, the impulsive thrill-seeking and callous behavior of the psychopath, and the deceitful and exploitative nature of Machiavellism. It is a possibility that women leave to escape their circumstances of abuse, disease, or pregnancy to seek a chance with the nice guy they rejected previously afterwards. Harold and Milhausen claim while nice guys may not be competitive in terms of numbers of sexual partners, they tend to be more successful with respect to long-term committed relationships. Another study indicates that for brief affairs, women tend to prefer a dominating, powerful, and promiscuous man. Further evidence appears in a 2005 study in Prague. Since women can always get a man for a one-night stand, they gain an advantage if they find partners for child-rearing. I see, and there's one last paragraph thing, nice guy syndrome. The terms nice guy and nice guy syndrome can be used sarcastically to describe a man who views himself as a prototype called nice guy, but whose nice deeds are deemed to be slowly motivated by a desire to court women, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we have gone through that. What about this? Why does being too nice to a woman often lead to rejection? Well, this is a confusing one for a lot of guys to understand, because you will often hear women saying that they like nice guys. When women are talking about a nice guy they're interested in, they will usually say things like, he's so nice or he's so sweet. So it seems like that it is the key to success with women. Be nice, be sweet, and you'll then get the girl, right? Well, not quite, apparently. To make things more confusing for guys, women don't complain about the nice treatment that nice guys give them. They don't say to a guy, hey, being nice to me isn't going to get you laid or make me want to be your girlfriend. Instead, they just soak up all the nice treatment and then sleep with a guy who makes them feel how they really want to feel. What do women really want to feel when interacting with a guy? Keep reading to discover the answer. Blah blah blah. Okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this and hopefully I will grow on her. Hopefully she will develop feelings for me over time. Yet, why doesn't it work? I actually want to get to the point. So he's creating feelings of friendly affection rather than sexual attraction, which seems to be not a good thing. Do you need to be a bad boy to make women love you? No. One thing that I wanted to point out there is that there is nothing wrong with being nice to women. You can be a good guy, you can be polite, and you can be well-mannered, you can be a gentleman, but only if you're also making the women feel sexually attracted to you in many different ways. And I want to point out many different ways. If you're only being a good, nice guy to her, then she's only going to experience gentle, fond, friendly types of feelings for you. Those friendly feelings are not what cause a woman to have sex with you right now or be in a sexual relationship. If you want a woman to want sex with you or begin a sexual relationship with her, you've got to say and do the things that will make her feel sexually attracted to you. The reason why being too nice to women often leads to rejection. The reason why being too nice is that it creates feelings of friendly affection rather than sexual attraction. So friendly affection instead of sexual attraction. Making her feel affection for you may cause her to want to be a friend to you, to include you in her life in some way, or at least be nice to you, but it doesn't make her want to start a sexual relationship with you. What does make her feel like having sex with you or beginning a sexual relationship with you is the exciting feeling of attraction. In addition to feeling attraction, she also wants to be in the presence of a guy who knows how to build up the sexual tension between himself and a woman. For a guy, if he sees an attractive woman, he doesn't need the sexual tension to build up because he's willing to have sex with her right away. Generally speaking, most guys will see a woman and be willing to have sex with her just based on how she looks. Yes, quite. Yet, the way it works for a woman is that she wants the sexual tension to build up first. This can be done during a 10 to 20 minute interaction or over a few days if you work or study with a woman, and she will then be open to having sex. She wants to experience and enjoy sexual tension based on how the guy is behaving and managing the dynamic in the interaction between them. It's exciting for her and it makes her want to kiss and have sex, blah, 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 blah. Some guys don't like that requirement though. But that is not what women want. Feel sexual attraction, not friendly affection. And they want to be with a guy who knows how to build up the... Can I actually show that on fucking YouTube? I hope I can. It's an amazing, exciting, exhilarating release of all the built-up sexual tension. Discover more powerful secrets of natural attraction. I don't want to buy your... You're such a fucking asshole. I don't want to buy your shit. Harden up, there are top 5... Blah, blah, blah. How being too nice can be dangerous for women. I think... Well, is it? I don't know. Well, I seduce with personality. How to attract women and why being too nice typically backfires. Seducewithpersonality.com. Very, very, very interesting by Mark Lampert. Seduce with personality. Who can provide me with a better life? Who is nicer? Who looks better? Who has more money? Who will support me more? Most things nice guys don't cause any chemistry or sexual tension within a woman. In other words, they don't trigger attraction in her. Okay, here comes some news about women that nice guys never get. A nice guy is a good guy and woman knows that. She would be stupid to go for the other guy. The bummer is sometimes women do stupid things because women are many times irrational. We all are irrational. When a woman is looking for something serious, basically every woman says she prefers a nice guy over a bad boy. The only bummer is that nice guys usually act submissive and don't attract her. Yeah. And now I also want to be sold something. I want to point out something. I do believe that after reading all of that, I do believe that being a nice guy is a fucking important thing. Whether it is in short-term relationships, whether it is in long-term relationships, it's always a good thing. But the thing is, it is about attraction. No, it's as they all pointed out, and it kind of makes sense to me. Like, it's not about being a jerk, it's not about being an asshole, but it is about. Well, I do think it's not about kind of doing everything for the other person. Like, you might have had an interaction with a woman that maybe was into you and really kind of seemed to do everything for you and shit. And I generally don't really believe, unless you're also attracted to this person from the beginning on, that it is attractive quite. We are always like, we're always concerned to lose something. Always. This is how the human just body is, from an evolutionary perspective. And so this is one of the reasons why spending money is something that we don't like to do, because we are losing something, because we are then not having it anymore. And I don't know, it's a pretty interesting phenomenon, I would say. And I kind of feel like that it is the same thing. Like, if you're about to lose this connection and lose this person and lose this whatever, then it becomes more precious, because you know that it is not going to be there forever, unless I believe, my opinion, that you just really are even not distinguished, but disgusted by this person. Then you're just going to be really fine with that, and you're going to be like, well, yeah, fine. I don't care. I'm actually happy if you're gone. This is one thing that I'm having on my mind. This scarcity thing. But you shouldn't also be overdoing this. I don't know. And maybe you shouldn't also be kind of doing this too consciously. I don't know. On the other hand, it's like, you are you, and you have certain values, and you value certain things, and your life is consisting of certain things. And yeah, I don't know, like, losing yourself is not a good thing, I guess. And of course they want to have strength. Of course they want to be protected. I mean, I do really believe that looking at things from an evolutionary perspective just really often can give you good insights. I've had one relationship. I don't want to be like, whoa, I just know everything, because I don't know shit. But I just thought about it. It is something that I've realized while I'm talking, actually. Yeah, I don't know. It is a difficult thing. Maybe in the future I'm going to talk a bit more about that. Maybe I find some evolutionary, or well, on attracting women. I always forget how to write women, by the way. The evolutionary psychology of physical attractiveness. Evolutionary psychology, Sage Journal. Well, it's actually, it is a paper. I don't like going through papers, because it's, first of all, so long, and second of all, well, maybe article in issue. Maybe I can read the extract. Maybe this is something that can provide you with some benefits. Abstract. Psychological evidence suggests that sex differences in morphology have been modified by sexual selection so as to attract mates, intersexual selection, or intimate rivals, intrasexual selection. Women compete with each other for high-quality husbands by advertising reproductive value in terms of the distribution of fat reserves, and by exaggerating morphological indicators of youthfulness, such as small nose, small feet, and pale, hairless skin. Man's physical appearance tends to communicate social dominance, which has the combined effects of intimidating reproductive rivals and the attracting mates. In addition to their attractiveness and intimidatory effects, human secondary sexual characters also provide cues to hormonal status and phenotypic quality, consistent with the good genes model of sexual selection, which includes parasite resistance. Low waist or hip ratio is sexually attractive in women and indicates a high estrogen or testosterone ratio, or estrogen to testosterone ratio, which favors reproductive function. Facial attractiveness provides honest cues to health and mate value. The permanently enlarged female breast appears to have evolved under the influence of both the good genes and the runaway selection mechanisms. The male beard is not obviously related to phenotypic quality and may have evolved through a process of runaway intrasexual selection. Is there more to it? there's actually more to it. But I really gotta have to take a piss. Reproductive senescence or senescence, whatever, a life history trait virtually unique to human females is thought to be the result of a fitness trade-off between increased maternal investment in existing progeny and continued reproduction. With the ultra-sility lifespan hypothesis, I propose that menopause arose well, is there something interesting? Sexual selection theory says that because females are the limiting factor in reproduction, males have to compete for them. Females in turn choose among males. In humans, socioeconomic status is much more important mate choice criterion of women than of man. Yes. Thus, striving for status and signaling status is more important for man. We chose walking to test this sex difference because upright posture and walking probably were under sexual selection pressure for a long time. The latter is illustrated by upright thread displaying quite common in male primates. For example, man may walk stiff and erect and accelerate to vigorous striding, both to impress women and to threaten rivals, in which case they may also raise their arms. Moreover, gathering and hunting, the condition of all modern humans until about 15,000 years ago, implies a division of labor with man playing the more mobile hunter part. In view of the outstanding importance of food for female reproduction, women probably highly valued man's hunting capabilities, among which are locomotory speed and perseverance. Long-standing quantitative data on walking speed also suggest a sex-specific association between pace and status. We hypothesized that habitual fast walking might be a means to acquire and or to display status, and predicted a positive correlation between walking speed and socioeconomic status in men, not in women. We found that men walked faster the higher the status, whereas the pace of women was independent of their status. This result held when proximate factors like age, body weight, next destination, and number of days were controlled for. And that's quite it with this article. And with that being said, thank you very much for listening and or watching. And I wish you the best health, happiness, and all success, and also hope that you're going to manage yourself and you're going to be remembered. Basically means your legacy, basically means being a nice person, that means remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. 3 other questions that I have you are: why are you here? Why are you trying to change, and what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions hopefully going to show you a purpose, maybe even a business, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. And one last thing is, what could you essentially communicate and say to another person that is indeed going to change their life? Because I totally believe from the bottom of my heart that we all can say something and we all can communicate something that is indeed going to change somebody's life. And yeah, with that being said, bye bye. Thank you very much, and please take care of yourself, your family members, your loved ones, and everyone else.